Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our annual Salt and Pepper Bout, where our officials get to hang up their whistles for the night and play some hard-hitting derby alongside local skaters. I am Slowly But Surely, and alongside me is
Gorgeous. We are going to announce the teams that we have skating here tonight. Starting up with Team Salt, which will be in white. All right, for our first team, we have 416 bash tag. 98 pounds of steel. 103 Shannibal Lecter. 50 the original Skankster. 717 Emery Bordeaux. 96 Jacqueline Hyde. 6 Nacho Mama. 789 Shaquilia. 720 Bob Gnarly. 09 Kitten Around. 626 Peter Panic. 2 Joe DeVivre. 110 Bruceberry Ruffin. And 79 Colonel Angus. Give it up for your team, Salty.
All right, up next we have those Peppered Peeps, Team Pepper in black tonight. All right, so we have number 4, Baby Stelly. Number 26, Blazin. 651, Chipatoo. 75, AC Slayer. 72, Crazy Diva. 12, Hermione Danger. Number 13, Madame Medusa. 333, Red Rum. 40, Steel Stiletto. Number 9, Kato Ninetails. 884, Lucille Brawl. Number 25, Shark Wahlberg. Number 504, Fleur de Beast. 919, Yellen Griswold. All right, let's give it up one more time for Team Pepper. All right, fans, please stand and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
I think it's about time to play some derby.
We're going to get our teams back out on the track in just a moment as soon as I think they do their cheers, and our lovely, lovely officials tonight in their colorful outfits get ready.
And in doing so, let's introduce all of our lovely referees. We have Cat Sargent, Trippin', Shreddy, Boom, Fred, and Chuck. And we have our NSO team, Ginger, FoCo, Beverly, Artie, Nope, Busty, and Rex. We would not be able to play this game without our lovely referees and NSOs, so please give them all your love.
All right, here we are, the first jam of the evening. Looks like we have Shannibal Lecter there jamming for Salt, and Chipatooth there jamming for Pepper.
And pops on through.
All right, looks like Shannibal Lecter struggling a little bit back there with a solid black line of defense. Trying to make it through, and here's Chip coming back around for her scoring pass. Looks like penalties called on both Team Pepper and Salt, and Chip will call it.
Clean first jam.
1, 2, 3, 4, pass.
All right, so it looks like Team Pepper there put up 4 points on the board. It's a solid start to this game.
And now it looks like a fight for the front of the line instead of the back.
So that's a little bit of old school derby there for you. Those pivots, putting their toe stops on that pivot line, helps or prevents anybody from being in front of their hips at the time of the whistle. Looks like we have Pounder jamming against AC Slayer there. Pounder is in white, AC Slayer in black.
And AC Slayer makes it through.
And Pounder slips by on that outside line. All right, looks like a couple more penalties there called. Oh, Black fielded one too many blockers there. They should have not had a pivot at the beginning. All right, Pounder sneaking through on that inside line. AC Slayer getting bumped around, but also through on that inside line, and she calls it off after both teams have scored 4 points. So luckily for Team Pepper there, even if you field an additional skater on the track before you realize it happens and the whistle is blown, it is not a penalty. It's simply the last skater to enter the track must return back to her bench.
We have Bash Tag lined up for Salty up against, I can't see that, I think it's Red Rum. Red Rum is pushing.
Both those lines giving those jammers some hell. Oh, and there you have it. A penalty on black 4 and a penalty on white 6.
And Bash Tag makes it through as lead jam.
Ooh, and another penalty.
Currently 2 white in the box and 1 black.
Make
now
that
it's
3.
3.
So if the box is full of skaters from the same team, the last skater to approach the box is returned to the track until one of those 2 skaters in the box stand up.
So many small rules.
All right, Red Rum approaching that pack. Only 2 white there to try to defend. Skink is doing a great job holding on, and Kitten too. I'd like to mention here, Kitten is one of our skating officials. She's doing one heck of a job blocking tonight.
Especially in heels, everybody.
Yep, it's not every day that you see those Moxie skates on the track. All right, so Nacho Mama rejoins Kitten to try to help get their jammer Bash Tag through, and she does. She tiptoes on that inside line, but caught up by Baby Stallion Hermione. Danger up there along with Kato. And Bash will call it after getting all 4 points. I do believe that will keep the lead for Salt. Bash scored 12 points, which is the most amount of points we've seen tonight scored in a jam.
All right, and Salty lines up at the front of the line, while we have Pepper on the back of the line.
All right, it looks like Shannibal Lecter and Chipatooth are facing off again. Both teams starting with 1 in the box. right, solid looking defense there. Penalty is called for a forearm on one of those Pepper skaters. Oh, it was actually Chipatooth's jammer.
So now that gives a little bit of a power jam for Team Salty. They'll have the upper hand here.
Shannibal Lecter pushing her way through on this power jam, gets ridden out. Oh, but Floor gets called to the box, and Shannibal Lecter makes it out as lead. There she goes. It looks like her team's doing a great job holding back one skater. Ooh, hard hit there by Medusa. She is a very hard hitter. And a wonderful last line of defense. The no pack call makes it so that Shannibal Lecter can slide out and get those 4 points. Chipatooth is out of that box with speed and makes it look easy on that inside line.
She just hopped on right on up there. And now we have Shannibal Lecter falling through on the last line, and she made it.
Calls it off to get those points before Chipatooth can come back around scoring. All right, that brought that jams totaled 8-0 in favor of Team Salt. They are holding on to that lead there, 24-12. All right, we have Bruce Very Ruffin lined up against AC Slayer back there. And again, both lines of defense fighting for that front.
AC Slayer up first.
Hitting that outside line hard. It looks like Bruzy's trying to take that inside line. Both
These are very hard walls. A little bit of a drag back there by Blazin.
AC Slayer still trying to pop around the front there against Emery and Shakilia. Looks like she
AC makes it through.
All right, Bruzy made it through as well. She is done with her initial pass. Had to take off that helmet cover there to get through. I think that's definitely a testament to how hard these blocker lines are. Ooh, big hit by Medusa on that outside line. Ooh, AC Slayer with some fancy footwork on that outside line, and she calls it off to score 4 points. 3 points go to White.
Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Cornerstone Mortgage and Windmere Real Estate. Become the lead jammer in this house market with a team that fights for you. Megan Greisel, a.k.a. Poison Divey with Windmere Real Estate, and Jen Bray, a.k.a. Dyer's Eve with Cornerstone Home Lending will get you out of the pack and on the way to a real estate win.
All right, here we are entering into our sixth jam.
We have Lucille Brawl there, or is that Kato?
I believe that is Kato
Kato. She has awesome paint on her face today.
Going up against Joe. Oh, and Joe sneaking by the outside line. She got knocked out there by Fleur, and Fleur dragged her back. Joe is recycling to the back all the while. Kato is fighting to get by on that inside line.
Makes it through.
It looks like Joe actually snagged lead even though she got dragged back into the pack. So Kato's coming around, finishing her initial, but she is not lead jammer. Joe is lead jammer. Kato's team, Pepper does a wonderful job distracting those white blockers, and Kato makes it through on that outside line untouched. Joe coming around to score her points. All right, some hard hits there.
Joe is on
danger, taking her to the outside line. Ooh, and Joe goes out of track boundaries.
That's why we call it the danger zone over there, people.
Looks like the box is clear. Both teams are full out on their blockers. Joe still trying to sneak through all her points. She gets by on that inside line. Baby
penalty called on 504.
Looks like some
Kato pushes through.
Ooh, Kato gets called on a back block. She will be headed to the penalty box there, and Joe calls it. Kato. All right, this means that Salt will be starting with a power jam as the black jammer is in the box alongside one of her blockers. Looks like they fielded out Bruceberry Ruffin. Let's see what kind of offense she gets on this and see if she can make it out and score some points.
There's some hard offense and hard defense out there. Let's see how it turns out.
All right, it looks like that offense kind of did a sweeping motion there. Bruzy's looking to make it through. The offense stopped to pull out the pack, and Bruzy is through.
So with that being her initial, now she can score some points.
All right, Floor trying to give her a hard time in the back. It looks like White's going to hold on to Floor to keep pack back there, and Bruzy pushes her way out through on the front. Cato is out of the box and back on the track, trying that inside line against that Salt defense. As Bruzy comes back around to score her second pass, I believe.
Hard hit.
Hard hit there by Crazy Diva on the inside line. Cato is still trying to fight through that defense there. It looks like it was just Skank and Bull there for a moment. Rejoined by Shakilia and Peter Panic.
Hard fall for Blazin and Bruceberry. And Bruceberry calls it off after cutting it down.
It looks like she'll be rewarded with 3 of those points.
Wonderful. Looks like
we will have a timeout there for White. We're going to take this moment to thank one of our sponsors as well. We wouldn't be here without them. Skate Rats is a specialty skate shop that carries everything you won't find in the mall shops or most skate shops. Skate Rats shop is in the heart of Loveland, Colorado at 343 East 4th Street, but also ships worldwide from skaterats.com, and that is SK8RATZ.com. Honestly, Skate Rats has everything that you see pretty much on the track here tonight. They supply all of our refs and skaters with everything they could possibly need.
I would also say 3. I was so focused on making that last call that I failed to say it to you. I would say so, yes. Thank you.
All right, it did look like that was an official review by White to get those points, I think, transferred off the scoreboard. All right, here we are again, Jam 7. Sorry, Jam 8. Oh, and Pounder making it look easy, sneaking by on that outside line using one of her teammates' jerseys. Chipatooth still fighting through that pack, trying to get by that last line of defense. Pounder is coming around to score some more points. She makes it out without being hit and calls it off. What a beautiful flourish by Pound Town. All right, so Salt is still holding on to that lead that they've established. The score is 42-23.
both jammers in the back fighting on through.
We have AC Slayer going up against Shannibal Lecter. AC Slayer hitting hard through that last line of defense to pick up lead. Looks like Shannibal Lecter trying to make it past Baby Stelly, but knocked to that inside line. She falls down. Oh, and she makes it back through on the inside.
Just in time for the black jammer to sneak on through again and get those points.
It looked like in AC Slayer's pass there that she got a little bit of offense in the form of a whip. Offense is a huge part of this game, and our blockers are not only responsible for being defensive players on the track, but also offense, trying to get those jammers through. Shannibal Lecter still fighting her way, while AC Slayer is back around to score some more points. She approaches the pack so low, nobody can read exactly what she's trying to do.
I'll have to take a leaf out of that book.
sometimes in Derby it does seem whoever is lowest really wins.
It really does win.
I mean, there goes AC Slayer
Yeah.
through on that inside line, not even being touched by that salt line. Shannibal Lecter trying to make it through. Last line of defense against Floor.
And 2 Peppers in the penalty box right now.
And AC Slayer back through again on that inside line. It must be her favorite line.
Both jammers through after a difficult wall.
All right. Both of them hitting hard, and AC Slayer making it through after her initial hit there. Looks like Shannibal Lecter using her teammates to try to whip off of. One hit by Crazy Diva, but Shannibal Lecter makes it on that inside line.
And snags those last 4 points before the jam ends.
Oh, and we have our first lead change of the game. Looks like Pepper's taking the lead there after that amazing jamming by AC Slayer. Score now sits at 42 Salt and 46 Pepper.
Bruiseberry Ruffin up against Red Rum. Red Rum gets pushed out off of the track, while Bruiseberry pushes on through the Pepper wall.
She's doing some spin moves there, but caught on the outside line by Blazin for a drag back. Bruzy will have to return or recycle to the back of the pack behind Blazin, but that doesn't seem to have stopped her down. She is trying to make it through that tough defense there.
Both jammers are still struggling to get that initial pass. No calls have been yet made. And Bruiseberry Ruffin makes it through.
Red Rum getting hung up there on Bob Gnarly. Oh, but she gets called on a penalty. And Shaquilla as well. So that puts Team White down 2 blockers. They're still doing an amazing job holding Red Rum there. Skank is doing some professional one-on-one blocking, while Bruiseberry Ruffin is trying to make it through that black defense.
Some nice offense from Jacqueline Hyde over there, making holes for her jammer.
And we did have a star pass there on Pepper, so now Blazin is jamming, but the jam is called off.
Didn't make it just in time to get those points.
Looks like a timeout is called on White. We have some track repairs to be made with the tape. This is the perfect opportunity for you to stop by the merch table and get yourself some great Derby swag. If you want to be a well-dressed fan, make sure you have the gear necessary to cheer for your favorite Derby girl. Check out our new FoCo blue silicone pint glasses. When you drink at our sponsor Maxline Brewing, bring your blue pint glass for a discount off your first pint. I will attest to this, those silicone pints are amazing. They can go in the dishwasher and you can never break them.
Nope, and I use mine for coffee almost every morning because I got that cool little lid with it too.
So make sure you go check out some roller derby merch over there at our merch table.
Alright, that will be the end of the timeout. And we have our jammers lined up. It looks like we have Emery Bordeaux. And I can't even see past the wall in front of me.
I do believe it is Shark Wahlberg there.
There we go.
Hitting hard on that outside line and straight through like a shark.
Like a shark. I get it now.
Emery Bordeaux pulling off that helmet cover. Hopefully trying to peel off some of those black blockers. Oh, and she makes it through on the inside line. Shark Wahlberg making it through. Looks like Baby Stelly playing some offense there to try to get his jammer through. And she's going to make it through like a shark. Emery Bordeaux approaching the pack, using Bob Gnarly to whip off of and slide by on that outside line, barely being touched until Baby Stelly. There we go. Have Bashtag hitting out Shark Wahlberg up there.
Into the danger zone once again. Oh, lined up on the inside. Emery still holding the jamming panty, trying to make it through.
Shark Wahlberg going up against Bob Gnarly on that outside line. She made it through, but she is hit out by Pounder and calls off the jam. Does look like Salt did not score anything in that jam, but Pepper came away with 4 points.
That was a hard wall right there.
Thus, our scores brought 50 to 51. Pepper is holding on to that lead as long as they possibly can. We're going to take this moment also to thank another sponsor, the Grease Monkey at 1036 Oak Ridge Drive in Fort Collins, just off the intersection of Harmony and LeMay, has been a dedicated sponsor for 2 years, owned and operated by our very own boss, ma'am. If you mention FoCo Roller Derby, you can receive 10% off of any service.
Crazy Diva makes it through the through the pack.
Looks like Jacqueline Hyde is called for a forearm there, which only leaves Crazy Diva on the track for a power jam. She tiptoes the inside line and makes it through without being hit. All right, let's see what kind of offense Black has for Crazy Diva. It looks like everybody took out one of those white blockers and Crazy Diva made it through. So if you see that lovely ref there pointing at Crazy Diva on the inside and calling it off, he does have tie-dyed pants. This is his first bout refereeing. His name is Shreddy Mercury.
Shreddy!
The last one, instead of 0, it should have been 3. Because she did pass them while the panty was on.
We are so glad Shreddy has joined our zebra team. And we are, as always, so grateful to have our zebras with us every single time that we have the opportunity to play Derby. We cannot do it without them.
All right, it looks like lined up back there we have Madame Medusa jamming for Pepper and Bruiseberry Roughing jamming for Salt. I feel like Pepper has been mixing up who they're jamming, which is an interesting tactic, but it seems to be working as they hold on to the lead here.
Yeah. And it's always fun to see everybody's different ways of getting through the pack.
Exactly.
No two jammers ever jam the same way.
Nope. Little baby inside jump there on for baby Stally to drag back Bruiseberry Ruffin. She's trying to use her fast feet. Collides there with AC Slayer. Oh, and Medusa makes it out on that inside line, powering through. Bruiseberry Ruffin sprinting up that outside line, hoping to make it out, and she does.
After taking off the helmet cover in hopes to pass it on, but she made it through without needing to.
All right, Madame Medusa trying to push through. Let me tell you, when that woman gets some momentum, it's hard to stop her. She calls it off, scoring 4 points before Salt can score any.
Our score now...
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Still Pepper in the lead by 14 points.
All right, we have Pounder jamming up against Chipatooth. Look at that
Pounder riding that line.
Tiptoeing along, using that lateral toe stop movement to sneak through and get lead. Chipatooth stuck on the back there. Some heavy defense by Bash and Jack and Panic. Looks like Chipatooth is able to make it out, all while Pounder is making her scoring pass. Beautiful offense there by Shannibal Lecter on that inside line to move those black blockers off that inside line and let Pounder through. Ooh, Salt does have 2 blockers in the box. Let's see, that leaves Panic and Shannibal Lecter there to hold up Chip.
Chip pushing through.
Caught back up on the chest of Panic, but makes it through.
Both jammers synchronizing their beautiful skate motions. And blocker ready on that wall.
All right, looks like Chipatooth hitting those Salts sliding by on that outside line, knocking down Jack along the way on a hard hit. Pounder making her way through and calling it off after securing all 4 of her points.
Let's just take a moment to talk about one-footed skating by Chipatooth. That is not the first time we have seen that.
It is a minimum skill to be able to skate on one skate around the corner in the straightaway, but you often don't see that in gameplay.
Less a tactic, more of a basic skill.
Indeed. Sometimes that's what it takes to throw off those blockers, though.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we have Shark Wahlberg skating up against Joe DeVee. Joe running up that inside line to get lead.
And a very small little apex jump there.
Yeah.
Both jammers racing back towards the pack.
Joe is in lead and holding the front there. She will hit the pack first, and those Pepper are ready for her. Hard hit. Shark Wahlberg sneaking through on that inside line, collecting all 4 of her points, while Joe also sneaks up that inside line to get her 4 points. Joe calls it off, and the jam ends. Both jammers having scored 4 points. It looks like we still have 1 salt skater left in the box and 1 pepper skater who just headed there.
We'd like to take some time to thank another sponsor, Pivotal Wellness. Pivotal Wellness strives to offer a family-friendly, welcoming experience on one's own path to wellness. We provide effective, integrated healthcare services while educating our patients on optimizing their overall wellness. Natural healthcare for the mind, body, and person inside.
Ooh, all right, we have Bash Tag skating or jamming there for white and AC Slayer in black. AC Slayer picks up this jam's lead, and Bash Tag is out there after Baby Stelly runs up there to try to catch her. Not quite able to. All right, AC Slayer coming through, getting a push from Baby Stelly, a little bit of boost of speed. Bash Tag is approaching the pack. Slips on by Madame Medusa. AC Slayer out on the front, collecting all 4 of her points. Bash Tag sneaking by to collect all 4 of hers. Looks like Hermione Danger was getting in there to play some offense, but accidentally got called on a high block there. It's the worst when that happens.
I didn't put my hand there, I promise.
Right, when you just want to help your team, but then get called on a penalty. Yep. All right, AC Slayer trying to get off of that salt blocking line. Bob Gnarly up there at the front. Oh, but not quite enough defense. AC Slayer slides on by. Looks like these jammers are going for distance. Ooh,
big jump.
Beautiful. Oh, but she gets called on a forearm.
Oh. So that means we have a power jam for Team Salty.
And this jam will go the full 2 minutes. With only 20 seconds remaining in the jam. See how many points Bash Tag can collect. If you weren't already aware, in roller derby, you can only get somebody's points once in a pass, but if you can get everybody's points without having truly made it out of the front of the pack.
And that will be the end of that jam.
All right, that was one of our higher scoring jams for both our jammers there. It looks like we're finishing up the tally of the points. I do believe that brought the total for that jam. Salt scoring 11, Pepper scoring 12. This is a pretty tight score.
And this is going to be a start of a power jam for Salt with Shannibal Lecter on the line.
She busts through the back there, trying to slide by at the front, but Blazin catches her. Recycled back a little bit. She's fighting through. Up at the front against Blazin, tiptoeing on that outside line.
No pack called, allowing Shannibal Lecter to get through just in time for Team Pepper Jammer to hit the wall and get her initial pass.
Looks like AC Slayer fighting her way past Pounder up there, and AC Slayer makes it out.
Ooh, heavy push from Blazin onto Team Salty's Shannibal Lecter Jammer.
Also solid defense there by Hermione Danger. Looks
Penalty called.
Yep, on Salt, putting 2 Salt blockers into the box while there's 1 black blocker in the box. Oh, never mind, she just got released. Hannibal Lecter called off the jam.
My glasses are like digging into my ear. It's good. We have Cato and Bruiseberry lined up as our jammers.
Oh, and White calls an official review right before the jam whistle starts. All right, so we will take this moment to thank another sponsor of our leagues, Greenleaf. If you're sore, tight, or just need to recover, Greenleaf Massage and Sports Recovery is offering complimentary pre- and post-race rock taping and free e-stim and compression sleeve treatments at their booth. They have a booth. All right, it looks like we have some skaters there harassing FoCo, our very colorful NSO there. Normally, FoCo is on a pair of skates, but tonight he opted out of the skates to be on a pair of sneakers and to be on the same level as the skaters.
Scoring pass with an 8-point jam. I recall only getting it.
All right, it sounds like this official review is all about points. White is trying to argue that they should have more points here than that they were awarded.
Looks like our official review is over.
Did they win? All right, it looks like White did not win their official review there. No more points will be awarded to them. So the score stands at 81-92. And as Thor just mentioned, we have Cato there in black, jamming against Bruiseberry Ruffin in white. All right, there was that hard hit there off the line for Cato. Straight to the outside line and a drag back, similar to what there was there. Skink dragging her back as Bruiseberry Ruffin is able to sneak by.
Big salty wall right there. Bruiseberry Ruffin coming back through.
All right, it looks like Bruiseberry Ruffin called it off, but also was given a penalty for a cut. That will make this next jam a power jam in favor of Pepper, with Red Rum lined up there at the jam line. All right, looks like Pepper playing some offense there. Baby Stelly opening that inside line so that Red Rum can run straight on through and pick up lead. Chipatooth has been released from the box. Looks like Red Rum making her way through, given more offense there on that inside line so she can try to make her way through. Caught up on Hannibal Lecter, now on Kitten, and on Bash. That Salt line is trying to hold her as long as possible. And it looks like Salt Jammer is out of the box now. Bruiseberry Ruffin. See if she can make it out on her initial pass.
Good bridging on Team Salt, except with a penalty to Joe.
I believe that would have been out of play. The definition of the pack is the most skaters from each team within 10 feet of each other, and the zone of engagement goes 20 feet in front of that and 20 feet behind that. Any play that happens outside of that zone of engagement is considered out of play, and the skater will go to the penalty box for engaging outside of the zone of engagement.
And that will be our halftime.
Looks like our score is sitting at 87 salt and 96 pepper. About 40 more seconds to get the last of your concessions and find your seat again before we wind up for our second half of this derby game.
Who's going to win in the epic all-around battle of salt versus pepper?
You know, I prefer salt on all my food.
I prefer pepper.
I never put any pepper on anything. Some would argue it's too spicy.
How about Team Everything Spice from Trader Joe's?
That is a good option. That is a very good option. I'm sure it does have pepper and salt in it.
It actually does. And there's something else in it, but it's an everything seasoning, so you can put everything with it.
And this is your unofficial sponsor for Trader Joe's.
I'm just a fan.
They have yet to pick us up. All right, here we go. Second half. I do believe our penalty box will be empty at the start of this jam.
And it looks like we have Pounder and Shark up in the jam start. Up against two ferocious walls. There is going to be one white in the booth to start this half of the game.
Aw, Skank doesn't get to play. And here we go. Hard hits right off the bat there against those strong lines. It looks like Pounder sneaking up that inside line using Jack to whip herself around. Shark caught up on that salt line. Looks like Shaq swinging in there, last line of defense, but not quite. Pounder making it around for her scoring pass.
And a
beautiful
clean
offense.
Box for Salt.
Hard hit by Red Rum there. And Pounder will call it off. It does look like Pepper picked up 1 point and Salt did as well.
And then for this jam, we have Shannibal Lecter and Chipatooth as our jammers.
It does look like we have one Pepper sitting in the box. Looks like that last jam there was supposed to be 2 points to Salt. Alright, looks like Shannibal Lecter, they're playing a little bit of defense to try to hold back Chip, but Chip able to make it through on that inside line to get lead.
With ballerina toes. Coming back around again.
Hard hit there. On that outside line again, tiptoeing by. Nobody can quite hit her out before she gets through. She calls it off after securing 4 of her points. And then it looks like... Let's see how many points get awarded to Salt, if any.
That last one, you got the 2 points. Okay. The one out of 2.
Alright, it does look like Shannibal Lecter was able to pick up 2 points there on that jam. We have an official timeout. Yep, to make sure that the scoreboard is correct, but we will get right back to it. I believe it is AC Slayer up against Emery Bordeaux.
And Emery and AC still struggling through the pack.
Looks like a drag back by Baby Stelly for Emery, and AC Slayer is able to see her opening there at the front of the pack to get lead jammer.
Offense with bash tag for Emery.
Emery was, though, caught up on Blazin. Blazin was able to hit her out, and then Emery was recycled to back there. Meanwhile, AC Slayer is making her through, whipping off of teammate Red Rum's hips to make her 4 points around that outside edge.
There is now 1 Pepper in the box.
Sounded like she might have got 2 penalties, so she'll be there for a full minute. Emery Bordeaux still trying to sneak her way through on that front of the pack. Baby Stelly and Blazin giving her hell.
Ooh, and AC Slayer sneaking through.
Emery Bordeaux did pass that helmet cover to Joe DeVee.
Only to pass it back.
It might not have been a legal star pass, which means that it's better for Joe to give that star helmet cover back to Emery.
Go, Emery.
Oh, and it looks like it was a legal star pass, so Emery is not allowed to be the jammer. It must be Joe. If the star pass happens legally, then Joe must remain the jammer for the remainder of the jam.
Clarification is taking away to the players from the game while Pepper continues.
All right, so the star pass was legal, and Joe is now the star, is now the jammer. And AC Slayer calls it off after scoring, I believe, a total of 20 points.
Timeout called for Black. Hopefully some clarification on what was going on in the track out there.
All right, so if you like what you see tonight and you love roller derby and you want to be part of this amazing community, stay tuned for FoCo's Roller Derby's website for more information about our new recruits meeting in January 2020. If you don't know how to skate, don't worry, we will teach you how. If you're not sure you want to skate but still want to be involved, please come to the meeting. There are so many ways to be part of this community. Make it your New Year's resolution and keep an eye out for more information in January about that meeting. And again, you don't need any experience whatsoever for us to teach you how to play derby, or we could teach you how to become one of our skating officials. All right, here we go. Fourth jam of the second half.
Bruceberry Ruffin makes it through quite easily.
On that inside line, and Shark Wahlberg is there fighting against Salt, trying to make it out. Bruceberry Ruffin is already around the track, ready to score some points here. Looks like 2 Salts have ended up in the box, and there's 1 Pepper blocker there too. Shark Wahlberg running through on that outside line to make it out of the pack, closely followed by Bruceberry Ruffin, who just scored her first 4 points. All right, it looks like Pound Town and Skank up there up front, joined by Bash. Bash making a run to the front to knock Shark Wahlberg out, but she falls down. Shark comes back in. Shark getting bumped around there, but also still fighting to make it out. She's doing a wonderful job. She has quick little feet.
Bruceberry coming around again.
Just looking at that inside line. Bruceberry Ruffin holding tight. Looks like a Pepper trifecta at the front was able to hit Bruceberry Ruffin out. Oh, but Hermione Danger is headed to the box there.
As is Skank.
Shark Wahlberg able to make it through on that inside line with a nice little step over one of those white blockers. Bruceberry Ruffin looking to the friendly side of PT to make it through, and she calls it off. Salt is definitely fighting for every point they can get. The score is getting a little bit wider, with Salt sitting at 103 and Pepper sitting at 121.
We have Chip and Shannibal Lecter.
Not sure what is going on there at the jam line.
But it's not jamming.
It's not jamming. It looks like some sort of a dinosaur, maybe? Dinosaur dance? Not really sure. Shannibal Lecter, all business, taking off right at the whistle. But it will be Chipatooth on that outside line, busting through that white defense.
Whatever that pre-jam line shenanigan was, it worked.
It worked for her. Shannibal Lecter now out on her initial pass. Chippa2 scoring points there. Slides by Bob Gnarly, who gave her a run for her money for a moment.
Skank coming back in.
Shannibal Lecter sliding by on the outside, but ultimately knocked out there by Yellen Griswold. Shannibal Lecter sneaking by on that inside line, but Chippa2 sneaks by on the outside and calls it off. And whatever the heck that is, must have worked.
Effective.
I'm not sure if that was a moo or a woo.
You know, there are some derby folks who believe screaming is the most effective way to get through the pack. So
sometimes it does work. Other times it's some extra labor on your lungs that are already deprived of oxygen. All right, we have, it looks like Bruce Barry Ruffin lined up against Red Rum.
Red Rum punching through the wall, riding that line.
Little bit of offense there, played by Blazin to try to get Red Rum through, but it was not quite enough. And Shakilia was able to swoop up a front and slow down Red Rum. Looks like Jacqueline Hyde and Shakilia are up there at front trying to stop down Red Rum. Bruzy able to sneak by on that inside line past her own players to pick up lead. Looks like Blazin's headed to the box for a penalty. Believe it might have been a cut.
Now there's only 2 peppers out on the track.
Bruce Barry Ruffin taking that inside line with a beautiful little pop and twirl there to score her points and then call it off. She will get all 4 of her points for that. Closing that gap bit by bit.
Now we have Pounder for Salt jamming and Cato for Team Pepper.
Looks like there are 2 black blockers there in the box. This is always a fun opportunity for black to decide whether or not their jammer will help them block or will simply go for that lead. Looks like Cato has opted just to jam. No blocking for her. Baby Stelly runs back Pounder to give her team or his team a little bit more time. Oh, and I believe both our jammers were called on penalties and are headed to the box. Fun fact, whichever jammer gets there first will be released immediately. Alright, so they're both back out on the track. We can never have a jam without any jammers on the track, so when that does happen, the jammers have to get back on the track. Looks like Cato got called on a track cut there on that inside line.
So
Pounder has taken off that helmet cover in hopes to pass. Luckily, a drag back by Baby Stelly was not achieved there. Pounder is pushing in this power jam situation.
Dragging back. To pass.
Ooh, high block there on black 7-5, it seems like. Woo. All right, Pound Town still trying to make it through there, holding that helmet cover in her hand.
Sometimes you just got to be patient.
She's looking for those holes. She made it on the outside line, and the jam is called off.
That was a tough one, folks.
I do believe the jam was called off there to check for blood on the track. All right. All right, so hopefully there was not blood on the track. Otherwise, Boom just put her finger in it. So there is no blood on the track. That jam was called off a little bit short, but that is okay. We now have a power jam with Shannibal Lecter jamming for Salt. She is pushing hard, and that offense swooping in on the inside line to let her through. Shannibal Lecter now has an open track to make it through, and it looks like Black Jammer Cato Ninetails is back on the track, trying to make it through her initial pass. We do still have one Pepper player sitting in the box, but the 3 Pepper blockers out on the track are doing a wonderful job blocking Shannibal Lecter.
two very tough walls out there.
These jammers are fighting hard, trying to tiptoe where they can. Ooh. Hard fall there. AC Slayer is shutting down that inside line against Shannibal Lecter. And it looks like Shannibal does not actually get called on a cut penalty. And she makes it out of the pack.
After a brutal fight,
Kato Ninetails has taken off the panty and passed it to AC Slayer. AC Slayer fighting and making it out of the pack in the front there. Shannibal Lecter tiptoeing on that inside line, hoping to make it through, but Kato Ninetails shuts her down. AC Slayer was not able to score any points on that jam. And it looks like Shannibal Lecter was able to score 7 points on that. That gap between those two scores is closing.
it is closing very quickly here.
And we still have 17 minutes of action left. Ooh.
I don't know. Well, see, it's a pretty close call, everybody.
Do you have a preference on who you would like to see win tonight?
Pepper, because spicy.
Well, I guess I'm just salty, so.
Yeah. We know where our loyalties are.
Exactly. Shark Wahlberg there on the outside, making it through to pick up lead. That little fin coming through. Bruiseberry Ruffin caught up in the back of the pack there, being passed off the butts of those black blockers. Shark Wahlberg doing some fancy footwork on the outside to sneak by again. Bruiseberry Ruffin taking off that helmet cover in hopes to pass, but she is out on the inside. She just has to put that helmet cover back on to score any points as she comes back around. Meanwhile, Shark Wahlberg is on her second pass there, making it look easy, getting 4 more points. Bruiseberry Ruffin lining up against Crazy Diva with the juke, and she is through.
Now we have 2 peppers into the box.
And the jam is called. It looks like Shark Wahlberg was able to rack up 9 points on that jam. And Bruiseberry Ruffin was able to secure 4 points for her team.
Now we have Blazin for Team Pepper as jammer and Pounder as Team Salt jammer.
Team Pepper starting down with 2 blockers in the box, but we'll see if they're able to hold Pounder. It looks like they are able to hold Pounder right now, but Blazin is headed to the box on a track cut penalty. Baby Stelly does a drag back. Oh, and Pounder takes off the helmet cover. That means there will be no lead for this jam, and the jam will go the full 2 minutes. Now it's just a matter of will Pounder give out that helmet cover over, and she does not. She don't need no pivot help.
There's no I in roller derby slow.
Except for in pivot. I would also say there is a me in jammer.
There is.
Blazin has made it out of the box and is through. Pounder is not lead, so she cannot call it. Blazin pumping her way through that inside line, scoring her points. Meanwhile, Pounder caught up again on those black butts. She's going to make it out, or will somebody catch her? Blazin catches up to her after making her way through the pack on that outside line. And Blazin passes Pounder.
The wall is relining back up for the arrival of both jammers.
Looks like Pounder was trying to ride Blazin's tailcoats there for a moment. Oh, but Blazin is able to sneak by on the inside while Pounder went to the outside and got caught up by those pepper blockers. Got some hard hits up at the front there, knocking down those pepper skaters. But it looks like Baby Stelly is giving Pounder a hard time in the back there. Blazin was knocked out and dragged back by the original Skinkster, and the jam comes to an end. Looks like Pounder was able to secure 4 points for her team, whereas Blazin was able to secure 12.
Looks like a timeout being asked for Salt.
And a timeout is called.
There we go.
If you somehow forgot, we would like to thank our sponsor, Cornerstone Mortgage and Windermere Real Estate. I personally use these two lovely ladies to secure my own home loan and house that I currently live in. They are wonderful. Megan Griesel, a.k.a. Poison Divey with Windermere Real Estate, and Jen Bray, a.k.a. Dyer's Eve with Cornerstone Home Lending will make the process so easy for you. They honestly do all the work for you and make the process enjoyable to make you have a real estate win.
Sounds like a real team that you want to have on your side.
Fun fact, they both did play roller derby a handful of years ago, and they were both wonderful players that we would love to see back on the track, but I think they've decided that they're done with derby for now.
I guess I'll just have to buy a house from them then if I want to see them and have a game with them.
Absolutely. Make sure you check out Cornerstone Mortgage and Windermere Real Estate. All right, looks like our penalty box is clear. Both teams full out. Shannibal Lecter facing up against Chipatooth. And doing their weird moo or boo or woo thing.
I think it's supposed to be a bird, but
not quite seeing the correlation to derby. All right, Chipatooth bouncing her way through the pack to make it out. And Shannibal Lecter making her way out of the pack as well. Looks like we had one penalty called on Kitten there on Team Salt. She's headed to the box. Beautiful offense by that Pepper team. Oh, but they lose one too. Chipatooth was able to make it by on that inside line, score her 4 points. Shannibal Lecter making it out of the pack now, also scoring her 4 points. Chipatooth making it through again. She's truly unstoppable. Drag back there by Hermione Danger. Shannibal Lecter using a stomp technique to make it through and past Hermione Danger. Quick recovery for Shannibal Lecter.
And quick re-entry.
But Chipatooth was able to see an open inside lane and made it straight on by.
Shannibal back up on the pack.
Ooh, it looks like Chipatooth picked up a forearm penalty there when she collided with Kitten, which means this jam is going to go for 40 more seconds before being called off by the refs there. Shannibal Lecter fighting against AC Slayer. AC Slayer called out of play and has to return to the pack. Shannibal Lecter able to pick up 4 points there for her team. Chipatooth taking a little breather in the penalty box.
I guess her technique didn't work out this time.
Nope, I guess that bird dinosaur thing did not work.
Not this time around.
Lovely offense played by Joe up there in the front. Shannibal Lecter has a clear inside lane to skate on through. 4 points more to Salt. Chipatooth coming by with some speed to snag her last 4 points of the jam. Let's give it up one more time for those beautiful officials there, inside and outside of the rink.
Absolutely. We've got Cat Sargent, Trip, Shreddy, Boom, Fred, Chuck, Ginger, FoCo, Beverly, Artie, Nope, Busty, and Rex.
Could not do it without those lovely people.
Absolutely not. And we would love for you to join that team or playing on the track as well. Please feel free to contact anyone that is associated with the league for more information.
All right. A little bit of a crazy start there. It looks like Red Rum got called on a track penalty before she could be awarded lead, which means Bruzy is now lead. Looks like there's also only one Salt in the box and one Pepper blocker.
Nice.
Bruceberry Ruffin seeing that inside line that was opened up beautifully by her teammates.
A little bit of a crash, but sometimes your team's got to take a hit to get on through.
It's a wonderful thing when offense comes through for their jammer. Baby Shelly, Baby Stelly doing a drag back there.
And more O for Bruiseberry Ruffin to get her through.
4 more points to her. Looks like Red Rum called again on another penalty, so she was headed to the box. Bruiseberry Ruffin has a power jam in her favor. All right. Looks like there's some offense waiting at the front for Bruiseberry Ruffin. High block called on Black 4. Bruiseberry Ruffin still fighting to make it through, hoping for some offense from her team. 20 seconds left in this jam. Bruiseberry Ruffin has had lead this whole time, but has elected not to call it off.
She's getting some good points while the jammer is in the box.
Trying to close up that score gap, but it's hard getting hit repeatedly.
And she calls it off after a particularly hard hit.
That was a beautiful jam by her. It looks like she picked up a total of 11 points there.
Folks, as you can see, it's a very hard-hitting sport. Everybody here is getting a little bit exhausted and tired, and if you would like the opportunity to play, first of all, be ready to sweat a lot.
Very true. Very true. Also, check out FoCoRollerDerby.com.
.com.
And keep an eye out for when our next recruitment meeting is.
You can also find us on Facebook very easily. We are very active on all of our social media.
All right, a lot happening here. Bash tag was out within the first 5 seconds.
And now the Pepper Jammer has
Crazy
made it
Diva.
into the penalty box.
Looks like she got called on a forearm, I believe, for trying to whip off of her teammates and might have bumped into a white player there. So White will start with a power jam. Shannibal Lecter out there on the jam line by herself. So if you are interested in joining, you will need to suit up to play this wonderful sport. It's how we stay safe and have a good time. Make sure you check out our sponsor, Skate Rats. They are the specialty skate shop in Loveland. They will be able to outfit you with absolutely everything you need. And even if for whatever reason you don't decide to join Derby, but do want to skate and enjoy that lovely sport, they will be able to outfit you with all your skating needs. So make sure you check them out. Again, you can order online and it ships worldwide from sk8ratz.com.
Shannibal Lecter made it through. Now just whipping through again, getting ready to head up against the Peppers.
Looks like Pepper's trying to decide what the best blocking position is to avoid that offense that's so hard hitting. Oh, it looks like a penalty was actually called on Pepper there rather than Salt. I was holding my breath thinking that the offense was going to get a penalty. Jacqueline Hyde did a wonderful job opening up that inside line for Shannibal Lecter.
And now the Team Pepper Jammer is speeding on through.
Crazy Diva, yep, back on the track. Shannibal Lecter skated through with not being hit at all and got her 4 points while Crazy Diva got caught up there a little bit. Looks like Shannibal Lecter walked away with that jam with 8 points, bringing our score to 165 to 167 with 6 minutes remaining in our game. Who will win?
Bum, bum, bum.
If my name was Dead Zeppelin, who would I want to win? Oh, what a politically correct answer.
Gotta love it.
All right, it looks like a timeout was called. It might have been an official's. I believe it is an official's timeout. Looks like Pepper has 2 blockers in the box, and this timeout is to correct that. And we do have the Salt pivot sitting in the box as well. Lining up on that jam line, waiting for this timeout to be called to an end, is Pounder and Chipatooth. All right, here we go.
coming through. And push back for Pounder on that block wall.
Pounder just had to go against those 2 blockers, and it looks like Blazin and Shark Wahlberg were holding arms, and so they had Blazin called on a forearm penalty. Looks like Shark Wahlberg is now rejoined by Yellen Griswold and Medusa. Chippa approaching the pack, but not before Pounder is able to call it off. And we have a lead change in favor of Salt.
There we go.
Score now 169 to 167.
Head to head. This is going to be
Heating
a
up in
very aggressive next couple of minutes. Please be sure to stay tuned. We want to know how this one's going to end.
All right, looks like 2 pepper blockers starting in the box, 2 salt blockers starting in the box. 2-on-2 out on the track. They have Bash Tag headed up against AC Slayer. AC Slayer finds her opening in the inside. Oh, but is called on a forearm penalty, leaving lead to be picked up by Bash Tag. All right, so we have 2 pepper players and 3 salt out there on the track. Looks like 4 salt is there to join. Let's see what they do at this power jam.
And easy follow through for Bash Tag.
Looks like a destruction penalty was called there on Jacqueline and Hyde. Pack is going to keep rolling, but Pack will now be established where Shark Wahlberg is. As Bash Tag comes through, hard hit to Shark Wahlberg, hard hit to Crazy Diva, and she is through. Hot on her heels is AC Slayer. Bash Tag calls it off, ensuring that AC Slayer is not able to pick up any points for that jam. Looks like lead remains in favor of Salt with 177 to 167.
Up next, we have Shannibal Lecter and Chippa Tooth.
Doing their weird bird.
Weird little turtle, clam, hand,
Nobody knows.
something. Audiences, if there's a guess as to what's going on, please let one of us know.
We can only imagine.
Sometimes the ways of the Derby folk are just as confusing to me. Chippa Tooth sneaking out.
Getting that lead. Shannibal Lecter coming out as well, right on her heels.
And the re-entry of a couple from the box. Back block for our pivot 9-6 Jacqueline Hyde. That is her 3rd revisitation of the penalty box.
Looks like both teams will start with 1 blocker in the box. Looks like there will be a quick official powwow there in the center. We have some wonderful, what is it called? Dancing. What is that dance move called?
Where?
Shark
The
Wahlberg.
flossing.
Shark Wahlberg was doing some wonderful flossing there back on that jam line. She has since stopped.
She's one of the cool kids.
But back there on the jam line, we do have Shark Wahlberg and Joe DeVee. We're going to take this moment during this official review to remind you of another wonderful sponsor of ours, the Grease Monkey at 1036 Oak Ridge Drive in Fort Collins, just off of Harmony and Lemay, has been a dedicated sponsor for 2 years. They are owned and operated by our very own boss ma'am, and if you mention FoCo Roller Derby, you can receive 10% off of any service. It does look like Jacqueline and Hyde was removed from the game for her backblock penalty. Peter Panic has taken her spot in the box. Meanwhile, on the track, Shark Wahlberg does pick up lead, but Joe is hot on her heels. Looks like we're going to play a very fast game of Derby.
Right on the tails.
The point score so close, each team needs to play a little bit conservative here.
Can't afford to get any more penalties.
Nope, and every point matters here. So it does look like Salt was able to pick up all 4 points. Joe was able to make it through by that 4th whistle of the first set. And it looks like Shark Wahlberg was able to pick up 1 point. Salt is holding on to that lead. It might be that the Salty ladies are able to come out with the win.
Oh, you never know.
1 minute and 40 seconds left on that clock.
And now we have Bash Tag starting in the jam, followed by
It looks like AC Slayer.
AC Slayer.
Bash tag pushing hard against Fleur is able to make it out as lead as AC Slayer also sneaks by on that outside line. Both of our jammers are out and are gunning for their points. 3 blockers for each team on the track. Bash is going to hit it and quit it, call it off. AC Slayer makes mincemeat of that salt line. We'll see what points ended up like here. Looks like 2 points for Pepper. And we are waiting to see how many points for Salt. All 4 points for Salt there. Looks like Bash's tactic worked out to hit it and quit it.
I would highly suggest everybody watch the feet of the jammer. Watch all of the fancy footwork that they do to actually get through the pack.
All right, we have Chiptooth facing off against Bruiseberry Ruffin. Again, here we are, 34 seconds left in this half. This probably will be our last jam, and a mere 13 points separate our 2 scores. Bruiseberry Ruffin fighting. She's out there at the front. Will she make it out in time? Chiptooth being hung up on that blocking line. It looks like Skank and Pounder and Shannibal Lecter really holding Chiptooth. Chiptooth called on a forearm. Bruiseberry is able to make it out. Looks like this might be in favor of Salt. Ooh, Shaquilia is coming in as an illegal entry. I believe she came in front of too many of her own players. Bruiseberry Ruffin there, out in front of the pack, getting all 4 of her points. Our time has ended for this half, so this will be the last jam. Quick reminder here, please join us for the after party at Fuzzy's Tacos right down the street from here. We will all be there. Come say hello to your favorite skater. Enjoy a delicious margarita or a beerita. Eat as many nachos as you want. And let's all have a good, safe time. All right.
That'll be the end of today's game for the Salt and Pepper referee appreciation.
Looks like Salt was able to hold on to that last lead change and win. Final score being 199 Salt. Oh, just kidding. 194 Salt to 195. All right, the score just keeps changing.
95, 94, 100 something.
Oh, we might just wait until the official whistle to declare. Please, everybody, come to the track to give high fives to the teams.
Once again, we want to say that this bout could not be done without referees.
All right, our final score was 195 to 174. Salt did come out with the win.
I'm always synced up, so I don't, at this point, I have 2. And my 5 seconds at the same that 5 seconds, so it's weird.
Make sure to stop by the merch table one last time before you leave tonight and stick around for our MVP awards coming up right after this.